Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. Today we are joined by Danny Silva from Green Roads. For those of you who have not heard of Green Roads CBD, you will. These guys are exploding month after month. It's just the growth is unbelievable. But I'm not going to tell you, I'm going to bring Danny on. So Danny, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved into Green Roads, bud?
Cool. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for having me, man. It's exciting to be here talking to you. Jesse, you and I have become close personal friends aside from this, so excited to be able to talk to you about this and be on this journey together with you. I've been with Green Roads now for about 3 years. Green Roads was one of the first companies that was founded as the hemp industry started in 2014 in the United States. It began in 2014 when Obama passed the hemp bill. So we're one of the first companies. What's really unique about Green Roads was the founders, is how it was actually started, right? The two main founders, one is Laura Fuentes. She's a 20-year licensed compound pharmacist, right? So she came from that pharmaceutical industry, right? And she saw the things that were happening there, right? There's a lot of benefits that come from pharmaceuticals, but there's a lot of negatives, right? And we all know that now, right? And she started looking for alternative solutions, and she came across CBD. She partnered with the other founder, RB Barroso. He had been in the cannabis space for about 20 years, right? He owned dispensaries, farms in Colorado. He had been deep in that game for a really long time, really made a name for himself in that industry, but then also started seeing the benefits. He was really mainly focused on THC, started discovering the benefits of CBD a couple of years ago. So they came together, and it was the perfect union, right, to create this company. And the vision was to create high quality products, right, at a pharmaceutical level, right? A lot of people in the THC and the CBD industry, right, it's people making stuff in their kitchen, right? They wanted to create a high level pharmaceutical level product, right, that can really help people. And that's really been the mission, what the mission has been about, right? Creating products that really make an impact and really change people. So I was fortunate to join this company at its infancy stage, right? So I saw this thing start from the beginning when it was pretty much just a startup. It was just a handful of people in a small room, right? We were literally doing everything like cold calling, writing down orders, packing them ourselves. And then just in the snap of a finger, like 2.5, 3 years later, we become one of the biggest companies globally when it comes to CBD, leading the industry. We went from about 10 employees. We've got over 100 employees now, 2 giant warehouses, a separate sales office. We've grown to over 50 different products. We have the largest selection of products, of CBD products that we manufacture now in the industry. Over 7,000 locations throughout the U.S., starting to expand globally into different markets like Europe, South America, Mexico. And then from a number standpoint, the revenue that we're doing now is insane. Every month we're breaking our previous records. We started, in the beginning, it was exciting to hit in revenue for a month, 30 or 40,000. Those were the goals, right? That's what you're trying to hit monthly.
And now?
Now we just hit a record month. We did 4 million last month, right? 30 to 40,000. Yeah, 30 to 40,000 happens in a couple of hours in a day, and it's crazy, So it's beautiful. And along that ride, from a business standpoint, the industry is expanding. But the beautiful thing is, along the way, all of the people that we've impacted, right? There's 2 things happening here, right? There's a new industry that's emerging, but it's growing so quickly because we are creating and manufacturing products that are impacting people and changing people's lives, right? And it's an all-natural product, and it's real. So along the past, across the past few years, it's infinite phone calls, right, with people that I've spoken to, that I've met with, families, people that I've looked directly in the eyes, right, that tell me, look, these products have changed my life. They've saved my life. And that's the beautiful thing, right? That's really what we're doing. That's really what we're spreading. That's why this thing is growing, right? So it's a beautiful ride to be on, It's an awesome, exciting time.
So that revenue explosion, that is just right now in the USA, correct?
Correct, exactly.
Touched internationally, but from what I hear, people are constantly calling you to get over there.
Yes, yeah. So I've been traveling. I personally have been traveling all over. So I'm now director of of global markets right now, right? So I'm focusing that on that expansion, identifying these new markets. So I've been traveling all over the world, right? South America, Mexico, all over Europe, Germany, London, opening up new markets, right? Partnering, finding strategic partners, distribution partners, right? And everyone is super excited. Like people have been calling us. Like that's how we realized we had to start going global, right? Is we were getting tons and tons of calls from different countries, right? People trying to contact us. First, it started with actual customers, like retail customers, but then we started getting calls from distribution companies. Large pharmaceutical companies started reaching out to us, right? Inquiring about how we can start to partner and work together. So that's been extremely exciting. So we're right at the verge. By the end of 2019, we only have a couple months left. Before the end of the year, we will have officially launched in the European market, as well as Latin America, throughout Mexico. We've been setting up these distribution channels with strategic partners. So yeah, those markets are just about to explode. And those markets, it's interesting there what's happening there, because they're where the US was a couple of years back. Like I spent some time in Europe and I saw like what's happening in their market. It's exactly what was happening here in like 2014 and 15, right? So we're coming in with these products that, you know, it's a totally different industry that we're in now, right? So we know what comes next because we just did it, you know? So it's exciting to be able to go there and kind of set those things off.
It's like the domino effect, eh? Like everyone's watching Canada right now, everyone's watching the States, and now UK just legalizing or wanting to legalize medical cannabis.
Yep.
It's just going to keep going, and it sounds like Green Roads is going to want to be there every step of the way.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. It's an exciting time that we're in, because people's awareness, right, and culturally things are changing of like the benefits of hemp and cannabis, right? Because for me, like I'm a proponent of both, of the full plant, right? Hemp and cannabis, they're both. It's a beautiful thing, right? Like THC and CBD, all the other cannabinoids. The reason why we are focused on CBD, right? Like I fully support THC and all of its benefits, right? How I see CBD, right? CBD is the Trojan horse to enter and penetrate into the cultural paradigm, to shift people's perspectives and like ideas of what marijuana and cannabis is, right? Because that's still out there, right? That stigma, that idea like of this evil plant, especially like, I mean, there's parts of the US like in, you know, the Midwest and the South and stuff like that. There's still areas and still people I come across that still are tied to those old ideas. But especially as we expand into like Latin America and these other markets, it's really strong, right? That old idea and that old paradigm. But being able to present a product, right, that doesn't get people high, that strictly focuses on the medicinal benefits, right? That doesn't have any of that other like negative connotation attached to it, is what's going to allow us to enter into people's like understanding and the benefits of this plant. That's the first side of it. But the second side is from a legal standpoint, right? So federally here in the United States, CBD is legal to be sold in all 50 states, right? If you're working with THC, unfortunately, you are confined to your state, right? It's beautiful what's happening. The domino effect is happening in the US state by state, right? They're all falling. That's what I see, right? There's pushback here and there, but I see it as a beautiful thing. They're all falling. I've been watching this over the past couple of years, right? But still, like if you're working with THC and you're growing THC and you're selling THC products in Colorado, you can only sell in Colorado, right? You're limited in terms of the people that you can reach, right? CBD, it goes everywhere, right? Federally. In the EU now, we can sell CBD throughout the entire EU, right? There's certain countries that have their own regulations that may not be open to it, but legally it's allowed to be sold. So how I envision it is that this is the thing that leads the charge. And then behind it, all the other benefits of THC are going to come with it. You know what I mean?
So right now in the States, you can ship to every state from one state. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. We can cross state lines. We can ship everywhere. There are certain states and certain municipalities, like smaller counties, there's a handful of them that are fighting against CBD that we don't really ship to. But we've also been extremely active from a legislative standpoint. We have a legal team that anytime there's like a county or a city or a municipality that fights against CBD, we have a legal team that flies out there and that is on the front lines fighting. And we've had tons of different things overturned. Indiana banned CBD. We went out there, fought that, got that overturned, and that's what's been happening, right? So not only are we focusing on expanding this industry, we are actively fighting on the front end. We have a legal team that flies out, like our founder, Arby, that I told you, that guy's on planes, flying to small little courts, small municipalities. He's the founder of this multi-million-dollar company. He doesn't have to do it. He's doing it, right? Because he's out there, and that's part of it, right? Educating people, being on the front lines and fighting, you know? So that's what's happening.
See, you guys, what I love about you guys is you have all these different products, all these different SKUs. So, you know, if customers aren't a fan of one, they can go to others, but you're targeting new and exciting markets. Like I was a big fan of the Cody and TJ, you know, fight, that whole trilogy that, you know, too. You guys recently signed TJ, didn't you?
Yeah, which is super exciting because I personally am a huge MMA fan. I've been a martial artist my whole life. I used to fight. I used to teach. I've been in it. So it's beautiful for me personally that these two worlds are now joining together. So yeah, we signed TJ Dillashaw. He's a UFC bantamweight champ. For those people that don't know who he is, he's arguably pound for pound one of the greatest fighters in existence right now. And yeah, man, he came to us. He was using his products. He's very scientific in terms of his training, of his the supplements he takes, the food he intakes, right? He measures everything. And he started taking our products and he was experiencing amazing results, right? So he reached out to us and we connected with him and we sponsored him. And yeah, man, it's an exciting thing because that's what's happening. We're developing an athletic division, right? TJ's the first major athlete that we've signed, but he's going to be the first of many, right? We've been in communication with tons of different NFL athletes, pro athletes, basketball players, athletes from all different walks of life, right? We've been in communication with, and we're looking to partner with the right ones. But the key is that athletes are seeing the benefits, right? There's so many different benefits of CBD when it comes to athletes, right? When it comes to inflammation, pain management, particularly for athletes that are in high contact sports like football and MMA. There's so many different studies that are coming out now in terms of the benefits on CBD, how CBD benefits people that have had CTE or brain trauma, right? So that's a beautiful thing that's happening. But yeah, man, super excited. I'm personally excited just because we get to, you know, work with somebody as cool as TJ. And I'm going to get to work with them personally one-on-one, so that's going to be exciting, you know?
Yeah, you were telling me off air, and I don't know if you want to get into that, but that sounds like a super, super exciting project you got on the go there.
Yeah.
One key thing that you said, man, he came to us. Like there are so many different, you know, companies out there that are probably calling these guys like crazy, but he picked up the phone and called you guys. That says a lot about your products, man.
Yeah, that was cool, right? That's an honor, right? To pick, like for us to be finding out like that somebody like him of his caliber wants to work with us. So yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Are you guys are currently mostly into the edible kind of thing right now, right? And the oils. Are you looking to get into anything that is, you know, vaporization, anything like that?
We have a huge selection of products. The core components of what we make first is our oils. So they're sublingual and they're actually vapable too. So that's an actual vapable oil. So you can take it under the tongue, but you can also vape it. We have a huge selection of edibles, oils, concentrates, creams. We have a pet line, all different things. It's over 50 different products. But we also do have vape cartridges. So we did launch a vape cartridge about like 6 months ago. That's been selling incredibly. And that's something that we're also looking to expand because that's a huge market for us, right? So the vapes, the massive market, right? People love it. Everybody's vaping now, right? You see people everywhere in the street. And in Europe, it was really, really insane. When I went over there and I saw how many people were vaping in London, it was amazing to see in the streets.
See, I had a different experience when I was touring around London. Like for everyone who doesn't know, Danny and we actually met in Berlin. We were at this cannabis expo, the Mary Jane, and we met, you know, started talking about each other's companies. It was awesome. But what I noticed about how people like to smoke their cannabis down there is they like to mix it with tobacco. Now, the first time that I got, first time someone passed me a joint, and I was like, oh, absolutely, I'll have a go at this, and did not expect that gross tobacco.
Yeah. I forgot what they call them. What do they call? Are those spliffs? Is that what a spliff is? When you cut it with tobacco? I'm not sure what it's called.
Oh, they didn't tell me what it was called. They just handed it to me, and I was
Yeah.
brings me to a question, man. So you guys are selling in the States right now. You're moving international. So for people who may watch this internationally,
Mhm.
or even at home, with all these different products and all these different companies, what do you look for when you're trying to choose a CBD product?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So here's what's happening. Because of all this growth, everybody's trying to get their hands into the CBD industry, right? So unfortunately, since right now CBD is currently not regulated by the FDA, there are unfortunately a lot of shitty products in the market, right? Like, so what we do is we test our products quarterly by an independent lab test. Every single quarter we test our products, but we also test a lot of the competition, right? Whenever we start to hear names, just to find out who, because we want to try to find people that are doing things the right way in the industry and align ourselves with them, right? But we also need to know who's making shitty products, and it's really alarming the number of products that we test that do not contain what the label like says in terms of CBD content. It'll say 500 milligrams. It comes up as 30 milligrams. It's alarming how many do not contain any CBD whatsoever. How many contain things like melatonin instead? How many contain like different kinds of artificial cannabinoids and things that are kind of dangerous, right? So you've got to really make sure that make sure that you have a product that comes from a reputable company. You need to know who's making the products, right? Most of these people are coming to CBD for some kind of medicinal purpose, right? That's what they're looking for, right? Some kind of medicinal help. If you walk into CVS to buy a product, right, it's important to know who's making that product, what kind of lab is making that product, what kind of testing procedures that they have, right? So those are the important things to look at, right? Making sure that there's lab tests and knowing what you're taking and who's making it.
So on that point, you guys, I'm assuming, are positioning yourselves to be ready when the government steps in and says, okay, only, or potentially says only lab tested products are going to be able to be sold, only products that have gone through the rigorous testing. Because I brought this up last episode that in California, and maybe people are tired of me talking about this, but it still blows my mind that they had this wild west of all these different companies that were selling all these different cannabis products, and then decided, okay, July 1st, we're going to put down strict regulations, new packaging laws, all this testing. For those of you who can't afford it or aren't doing it, see you later. You guys, I'm assuming, are positioning yourselves in a way that, if they do that, you'd be like, all right, here's all our certs. See it. We're staying.
Yes, 100%. We know that that's coming. That's coming down the pipeline for sure. We are preparing for that without a doubt. We are doing everything that we can before that even comes, right? We're putting QR codes on our labels. We're putting nutritional facts on our labels. In terms of how we're manufacturing the products, right? We're following all the GMP procedures. It's made in an IO6 clean room, right? In a laboratory setting. So from A to Z, right? We are acting as if this already is a heavily regulated industry. That is what we are doing, right? That has been the company policy on the back end. And we are looking to align ourselves with other companies that are doing the same thing, right? That we know that. And what we are trying to do is we're actually trying to be at the forefront of that regulation, right? So that when that regulation comes down, it's not a surprise to anybody. We're actually actively involved in what the regulation is going to look like, right? Because we want to make sure that when customers are taking CBD, they're taking a high quality product, right? There's nothing worse that tarnishes the name worse for CBD. It's not the people that are talking bad about marijuana and still have these all outdated ideas that are opposed to it, right? The real enemy is somebody that's manufacturing a CBD product that is putting it on the shelves, right? And it's not CBD, right? Or it contains dangerous, toxic things inside of it, right? And someone goes to take that CBD product and has a bad experience, right? Or it doesn't work for them because there's no actual CBD in there. You know what I mean? That's the worst thing, right? So we want to regulate it. We want to make sure that these products are safe for everybody, and that it's done correctly.
And you guys aren't just into CBD. You sell terpenes, and for me, like I'm pretty knowledgeable in CBD and THC.
Yep.
terpenes I am, learning. Do you have like a quick, high level
Sure.
view of what terpenes
Sure.
are? Putting you on the
Sure.
spot.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Yeah, no, of course. No, so terpenes. So without getting too technical, I'll give you the best way to explain what terpenes are. So terpenes are essential oils from the plant that are responsible for the flavor and aroma. Okay, but they also have medicinal properties that, when combined with CBD in high concentration, enhance the overall effect of CBD. Some people call it the entourage effect, right? So terpenes, the easiest way to like kind of visualize what they are is like when you crack open an orange, that citrus aroma that comes out, those are terpenes, right? So there's so many different kinds of terpene profiles that come from different strains of hemp and cannabis, right? And they all have different medicinal properties. So we're diving into more of the research of that, right? Like really understanding that. But we've launched an entire line of different kinds of terpenes in high concentration with our CBD products, and people are loving it. Not only for the flavor, but also because of the effect, right? They taste awesome, but then like it's also a different effect for a lot of different people, and they're really experiencing the benefits of those.
Do terpenes actually enhance or change an experience of, THC or CBD?
They do, yeah, for sure. That's what's called the entourage effect, right? That when you combine the CBD and the terpenes, when you combine them together in high concentrations, and it's interesting. Everybody seems to react differently to CBD and overall, right? Just like anything else, right? It's not a uniform experience for everyone. What I found, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, so I don't really know the back end what's happening, is that for certain people, the high terpene strains seem to have a better effect. And for other people, it's just the pure CBD. It's just pure high CBD strains, right? But for certain people, and it's certain terpenes, right? For certain people, it'll be like a blueberry OG terpene, and like that's the one that for them, for some reason, their body synthesizes in a way that they really start to feel the effects, right? And for other people, it's like a strawberry AK or something like that. So I think there's tons more research that needs to be done on the back end, right? Not just on terpene, CBD, THC, all the cannabinoids, right? And how they work together synergistically. And I think the direction that all this is going in the future, and we're not there yet, right, is that the same way that you go and get your blood work done and there's a full analysis of your body and the doctor like prescribes to you what you need, like where you're deficient. I think that's the future of where all of this is going, right? Is that we'll be able to do some kind of blood work, and they'll be able to give you a specific profile of how much THC, CBD, what kind of terpene strains and profiles that you would specifically need for your body. That's the direction we're going in. But that's the future. But that's where we're going. That's where I think all of this is going.
Well, speaking of the future, man, we were talking about this, how the States is like the UK, 2 years ago.
Yep.
UK is like how the States was 2 years ago. Where do you see the entire market in like 5 years?
It's mind blowing because like just where we went from 2.5 years ago to now, like I would have never imagined this. I would have never imagined this. Like all of the goals, like what I thought we blew all of our, our projections out of the water, and it's growing so fast exponentially. Where do I see this? I see this continuing to enter the cultural paradigm. I see this becoming an accepted part of the culture. So the same way that you see like a Coca-Cola and the name brand, I think there are going to be industry players that you will know the same way as that, right? Like brand recognition is going to start to come in because it's really going to start to enter the culture. I see the benefits of all of it. I see all of the laws opening up. Like my goal is everything to be fully legal, right? THC and CBD to be completely legal. All plants. For me, it's a personal thing, right? It's the full cannabis and hemp plant, and then all the other plants behind it, right? Everything to be fully legalized, right? And for us to really be able to use science, right? All the research that's happening, there's tons and tons of clinical trials that are happening. They're showing the benefits of this, and for us to be able to fully, freely be able to use these things to benefit everybody.
And I want to see that. What you just explained, I want to see that around the world.
That's coming. That's coming, bro. It's inevitable. It is inevitable. It is unstoppable. And it's a beautiful thing to be at the front of it. Like we are at the front of it. Me and you are making it happen, Jesse. If we want to see it, we are the ones to make it happen. We are in incredible positions. You and I to be young and at the forefront of these powerful companies, right, that are changing the world. And we have the ability to go into these new markets and do this, man. And that's what we're doing. And I love it. I love it. And like, the resistance is nothing to me, man. The people that are fighting it, even like the laws of states that are holding on super hard, I don't sweat that, man. They're on the wrong side of history. We are bulldozing all of that. They're, you know, like, it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing.
If you guys want to see confidence, I'm going to switch the camera right to Danny here. That's what confidence looks like right there. I love it, man. You know, last question here.
Sure.
What's the like the most excited thing about Green Roads? Like, what just gets you up in the morning and then like, I know this is coming.
Yeah, so much. I can't name one thing. I'm gonna give you the high level, right? Because I know I talk a lot. I'll give you high level. International expansion, right? International expansion is super exciting to me, going into these new markets personally, right? Being able to go to new countries and where it's a complete blank slate. Nobody's ever done it before, right? It's a road that's unpaved, and like, we are creating it. I love that. There's nothing more than I love than that, right? And like, there's obstacles in the way and trying to figure out how to navigate through it. And there's people that are going to be against us fighting it, but they can't stop us. Like, I love that shit, right? That's one. Two, one of the other things I do want to mention that's extremely exciting for me as well personally, here in the state of Florida, I live in Florida. We have just been through a state grant through the state of Florida, have been given 6 different farms here to grow on, about 20 to 30 different strains of hemp, in partnership with the largest university in Florida, UF, the University of Florida. So we have a partnership where we're going to be doing research on multiple different strains of hemp, not only for flower, like high CBD flower, but also for hemp has so many different benefits, right? And that's what I'm also excited about, right? Like, agricultural and industrial hemp that can be used for like textiles, for manufacturing, for construction. There's so many different benefits. This plant is amazing, right? And those markets, that's been illegal up to this point, which is crazy, right? Like, it's been outlawed. It used to be one of the biggest cash crops in the United States. And now we're opening that back up in 2018, right? It's been a sleeping giant, and we're about to open that up. And we are doing it, literally us. We are putting seeds in the ground. We're going to be doing the research, and we're going to start to open up all those new markets as well.
And you said keyword there, given 6 farms.
Yeah. Through the state of Florida. Yeah, that's the beautiful part, man. Like, we are active at the state level, right? Like, passing the hemp bill in Florida, like, we are at the forefront. Like, RB, our founder, he's at the state capitol all the time. I see congressmen, senators, lobbyists all the time. Like, we're interacting with them. They're coming in our offices. He's out there. We're at the forefront. And that's the reason why, right? The state is recognized. Like, it's also a blessing, right? The state is recognizing what we're doing, that we're doing things the right way, that we're leading this industry. It's great.
Man, I am so thankful that I met you down there in Berlin. We've become friends. We got some, we're talking on the business side, and things are great, Danny. So I really appreciate you coming on to the show today. Any last things you want to say to the few viewers that'll hopefully grow one day to millions once we conquer the world here?
Yeah, man. This is it. It's a beautiful time. It's a powerful movement, right? This plan is helping people. That's the bottom line. That's the message, right? Like, we have something that's real, that's helping people. We're changing the old paradigm. The world is changing, right? And we're helping people. That's the biggest thing, man.
I'm glad you came on, Danny, and I can't wait to have you back on at a later point. Maybe next time you're on, it'll be, last month we were at 4 million, now we're at 30 million, 60 million. See you later. All right, buddy. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and everybody, we'll see you next week there. And thanks for tuning in, and have a great day. Talk to you soon.
Thank you, Jesse. Namaste.
Namaste.